Does he blame Nicole, his mistress, for example? Does he say it was her? If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have murdered my wife, unborn child, 2 beautiful daughters. Well, how does he excuse this in his mind?
I don't know, because that is exactly what he has said. If I had never met Nikki, this would never have happened, he says, which makes absolutely no sense to anyone at all. But he's very, Christopher he's not outgoing at all. He's very closed off. I never saw emotions from him. I didn't see him laugh. I didn't see him cry. I didn't see him excited. He's very quiet. So, he's been harder to read than some people, because you get nothing. It's just like a blank.
Hi, this is Kimberly. These are my final thoughts on the shameless book, Letters from Christopher, Tragic Confessions of the Watts Family Murders. This so-called book is by Sherilyn Cadle. I hope to never talk about this clusterfuck again. You will see why I say that in a moment. I would like to begin with a disclaimer. I saw one yesterday when I was reading, peeking at that new Daddy Zero book. I started to want to feel all important and stuff, the same as that big-time author with all of the degrees and achievements. Well, she had a disclaimer in her book, and it made me all resentful and envious and stuff. But there she is, being all successful, and then a stroke of genius came to me. I decided to get one of those disclaimer things, so I too could make a statement that denies something, especially responsibility. That's what Cadle Scribe needed to do for her book. Y'all don't tell her, it'll piss me the fuck off. She does not deserve it. You will completely understand in a minute. Listen up, y'all. Got your ears on? I thought this was going to be short and sweet, this video. But no, I have to tell y'all something, and you can't tell anyone, okay? Because I'm not trying to do a smear campaign on copycat Cadle Scribe. Well, yeah, I probably am. She deserves it. And this is where I want to use one of those disclaimer things. I am not responsible for what this may lead to. And I'm not one to engage in gossip. And this is not gossip. This is the truth. And it's the true truth, just like Chris and shit said. This is the true truth. But I accidentally uncovered a possible scandal when I was doing research on, of all things, moral responsibility. I think this would be a good place to take an ad break. I like to act dramatic when the occasion presents itself. But seriously, I'm not going to do that unless they automatically do a mid-roll. But this is serious. It's unethical, unscrupulous, shameless, flagrant, of possible consequence, far-reaching, and so on and so forth and what have you. Not to mention that it pisses me the fuck off. But it's no joke. Listen to this shit that I'm about to read. In fact, I was going to give this its very own video, but I went back and forth with this. Then I have decided to do this as one final video because I can't stand any more of this bullshit. I'm going to do my best to organize my thoughts and be done with it. If it's all over the place, I apologize, because I started off with one thing and ended up with another because it took me where I was not expecting to go. So, I cannot think rationally or calmly due to being overwhelmed or overcome with emotion and mental exhaustion from what was this so-called book. I'm going to read something to you in all seriousness. Please listen carefully, as this is where I'm going with the entire video. I'll get back to ranting and raving, I promise. Okay, so this is what I wanted to read to you. Quote, "The great challenge for any true crime writer involves drafting a page-turning story that reads like well-crafted literature and simultaneously survives the most detailed of fact checks. It is an impossible endeavor because it carries the assumption that truth is discernible at all levels, and 100% of the facts can always be known. Like all forms of art, true crime literature seeks to capture what is non-discernible. Paradoxically, without fabricated layers of myth and conjecture, truth laid bare is not really truth at all. We are at the mercy of the killer to tell us what is deep in his mind, and hope he hasn't kept some of the truths hidden where we can't know them." End quote. Now, where do you think this came from? If you said from Letters from Christopher, you are 100% correct. But if you said His Garden, Conversations with a Serial Killer by Anne K. Howard, you are also 100% correct. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Just when I thought I could not be any more disgusted by Scribble, I dug up some new shit on her. Her integrity, or lack thereof, is astounding. There is more that she has plagiarized. This is only the beginning. Ironically, it was this plagiarized sentence that got her caught. I wanted to read up on moral responsibilities, as that is what I would have done if I were writing a book such as this. She said in her book, quote, I wasn't sure what my moral responsibilities were with the information he was giving me. I didn't want to be the one who hurt anyone else, and this information clearly would hurt many people, end quote. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. I know what a jacked up back feels like, and I'm pissed off for that camel. Her first sentence of chapter 1 was also copied from His Garden, Conversations with a Serial Killer by Anne K. Howard. Quote, I took a deep breath before writing my first letter, end quote. I'm going to show you pictures of the side-by-side comparisons at the end of this video, because I'm not going to read all of this crap that she lifted. Now mind you, she lifted from not only the discovery files, which yes, you're going to use that. You don't need to copy it letter for letter. She copied from the transcript of the Wisconsin interview. She even copied the weather report that she put in her book. She copied from many websites, and all of the stuff that I showed that she copied from this woman's book, Anne K. Howard, His Garden, Conversations with a Serial Killer. This is only from the free sample that I downloaded from Amazon, and I found it, as I said, quite by accident when I was searching for moral responsibilities from what Cadle was rambling on about in her book, which incidentally she copied that sentence as well. So, like I said, I had a hard time organizing my thoughts because I was just blind with rage, really. But a large portion of Copycat Cadle's introduction was copied. Remember a video or two ago, I jokingly said that after I found out that she did chapter after chapter, that it was a direct lift from Discovery. I was like, well, I bet if I go back to her introduction and stuff, it'll be copied too. So this book, where she didn't get it from the letters or Discovery, is just blatantly plagiarized from Anne K. Howard's book, His Garden, Conversations with a Serial Killer. Her first sentence of chapter 1 was copied from her. Quote, I took a deep breath before writing my first letter, end quote. So this is probably where she got the idea to write to Chris Asshat Watts. Anne K. Howard took about 3 years of research in writing her book. It's a 4-star review on Amazon. The author painstakingly pieced together years' worth of personal research and interviews. This lady went about her book in the way it is normally done, with conducting interviews with witnesses and law enforcement. She took exploratory trips. She went to the scene of the crime. She did stuff like that. 3 years she worked on this book. This is why Scribble was able to get her so-called book out so fast. I hope to hell she's not proud of it, but she's so damn oblivious. I'm sure she is. I want her 11 grandchildren to know about this. I was going to say that Cadle Scribe's book was poorly written, but actually, it's just an inability to copy and paste correctly. She is the queen of fucking up copy-paste. It was hastily thrown together. It's laughable, only I'm not laughing. But if I tried hard enough, I might be able to conjure up some vulgarity about it. I'm beyond disgusted. Both Chris and Shitten Scribbles, well, they are a couple of pussies. Pussycats. One is a copycat and the other is a fraidy cat. This video is by no means all-inclusive. I in no doubt will find more and more and more if I continue looking for it, but I won't. I have better things to do with my time. I thought it was merely a failure of citing sources, which is plagiarism. Rewriting someone's work without properly citing sources, using quotations but not citing the source, interweaving various sources together into the work without citing. Did she think because it was self-published she didn't have to do any of the normal shit? But this isn't like interweaving it and failing to cite sources. This is blatant copying. She changed that serial killer's name to Chris's name. What do you want to bet that Scribbles was that girl in high school, rushing in the last minute? No one likes her, but she has no homework done, and she bully or nags someone into letting her copy from them. And you know what? Those kids that did that, I hope it comes back to bite them in the ass in the adulting world. She needs to quit referring to herself as an author. Let's talk about the truth. The author wouldn't know the truth if it bit her on the ass. She talks about truth a lot in her completely plagiarized, substandard, contradictory, I don't give a damn piece of poorly written fiction. And it is copied shit from the real author, the author that did years of work. This just pisses me to no end. The only kind of writing she puts forth makes no sense. Inability to clearly explain shit. Then she tosses in shocking and dramatic supposings and must-have felts. It's a pure lackluster disgrace. I was going to give it 2.5 stars, but no. Why the hell can't we just do 0 stars? Just like Kristen's shit. He's a total fucking 0. The rest of this will just be me rattling off some shit so I can be done with this. I am intensely irritated and frustrated with this scribe, copyist, copycat Cadle, Cadle scribe, etc., etc., etc. Anything except for an author. The witch did not fact check. One of the plagiarized sentences says, quote, "The great challenge for any true crime writer involves drafting a page-turning story that reads like a well-crafted literature and simultaneously survives the most detailed of fact checks." She is just so full of shit. How could she? How could she live with herself? If I had to come up with one word to describe this book, other than clusterfuck, it would be plagiarism. Infringement of copyright, stealing, taking someone else's work or ideas and passing them off as one's own. It's goddamn immoral. It is a serious ethical violation. It's dishonest. You said you were writing a book, Scribble. You lack morals. You need to research that damn moral obligation bullshit that you were talking about. That's what got you caught. That's karma. Have I been fair to the author? Yes, I'm a very fair person. Have I been overly critical? No. Do I regret buying the book? Yes. Would I recommend it? Hell no. I was going to count up the chapters that she copied from Discovery in the Wisconsin interview, because that's what I thought it was. Took me several chapters to catch on. But there's no need to do that shit now. The whole goddamn book is plagiarized. One of the dumbass things that she said that I think she wrote herself was, quote, "It did not take long, though, to know that most of the information on media sources was made up information," end quote. What the fuck are you talking about, Scribble? This needed to be expanded upon. It was a very bold and libelous statement. You can't play around with the truth. You were talking about, quote, made up information, yet you do not say how you came to this conclusion. Did you assume it was made up because there was no one from which to copy? And then this bullshit. This is plagiarized too. Quote, "This book is my account based on extensive research of what led up to and during the murders and what has transpired since," end quote. Extensive research, yes, but not yours. You didn't even write this sentence. It was copied from the real author's book. The rest of the shit you copied from police, CBI, FBI agents, and every other professional that worked on that crime, plus all the other people you plagiarized from on different websites and stuff about your research shows bullshit. Not one citing of your sources. Quote, "My information for this book was given to me by Christopher himself, along with his family and some friends," end quote. Lie. How the hell does she have the nerve to say that? It was copied. Why the hell would she not say the Discovery documents too? She acts like she talked to these people. No, these were the police and FBI and CBI interviews. She replicated, cloned, forged, faked, falsified, counterfeited, bootlegged, imitated, mimicked, emulated, mirrored, poached, stole, infringed the copyright of, pirated, ripped off, and of course plagiarized. Under the acknowledgments, it says that the book was edited by Gail Murhowski. A quick Google search shows that she works for Hammond Baptist Schools teaching English 10th and 12th grades. God, please help those children. Should we write the Board of Education in that district? There was too much generalization in this book. She didn't go into depth. Of course, she didn't know how because she doesn't know how to write. We all know so much about this case. We wanted new and shiny shit. She talked to Chris S. Watts, for God's sakes. Her flipping broad statements throughout the books. Because she didn't know how to expand and write. She was just vague as shit. She lacked the specifics and details and failed to clarify the meaning of a great number of things. I truly think she was hoping we wouldn't notice and we would just say, wow, that's profound. But I know now that she did nothing but copy from others, and it pisses me off to no end. There's not much else to say because I had come up with my final thoughts before I found out all of the plagiarizing shit. None of that matters now, and I'm quite pissed that I've wasted my time on this. I'm pissed that I wasted my money. It's a waste of space in my house. I prefer Kindle books anyway. This was an inadequate return of my money, to say the least. If you ever want me to wipe my hands of you, simply lie to me. I fucking hate liars. They give me heartburn and make my skin crawl. This lying bitch is making me fucking insane. Soon, I was hearing some very dark and interesting things that Christopher had not shared with authorities. Well, were there more of the dark and interesting things that you did not tell us in the book? Because all of that is hogwash now. I don't believe shit. He's a liar, you're a liar. All of that shit was very vague and unconfirmed that you told us. Like you say shit like dark and interesting things and just leave it there. I'm still waiting for the next sentence. You know nothing. She knows nothing. I hope she is exposed further. Disclaimer, this is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. Scribble and christen shit. Y'all both are wicked, moronic, vile, biological waste, bitch-ass dimwit, deceiving monstrosity, bitch-face, perjuring, crack whore, freak, scumbag, dictard, heinous, lying, pieces of egotistical, jerk-off, decaying, besmirched chicken shit. And I hope you both give each other nightmares and wet the fucking bed tonight. So piss off. Anyone else thinking of writing a Chris Watts book and you think it's easy by copying and pasting? Don't. Just don't. I will come after you. So right now I am not going to do a review on this so-called missing chapter. If ever I calm down from being so pissed off at this so-called book writer, I may reconsider. But what is the point? It's just made up shit from this lying piece of shit. Like I said, he lies and she lies. I really need a break from her. I'm not joking when I say my health actually depends on it. I don't do well with unsavory, repugnant people like her. How dare she? And I am going to slam off to bed, and that will be the end of this horrid video. I just can't go on with any more of this. I will pick up with the new My Daddy is a Zero book in my next video. Thank you for listening. Hi, this is Kimberly. I just thought some of you might be interested in an update on the plagiarism bullshit that Copycat Cadle did, also known as Scribble. On December 11th of 2019, I called out her lying ass on my YouTube channel. December 12th, Ann K. Howard came out with a statement that said, well, this is a concern. Several people have contacted me to tell me that there is a new true crime book out there that has plagiarized sections of my book, His Garden, Conversations with a Serial Killer. I just purchased Letters from Christopher by Sherilyn Cadle. It has terrible reviews, and in the first few chapters alone, I have discovered exact lines stolen from my book. Sometimes the author changes a few words, but at other times she has the gall to use the exact wording that I've used. I'm not looking forward to reading on and finding more theft. This woman just still does not get it, that she did plagiarism, that it's a very serious offense, especially if you want to call yourself a writer and an author, you dumb. I'll just let you all fill in the blank there. If you'll remember, she called it a silly accusation. Well, Ann Howard did not see it that way. This woman is certifiable, confused, Sherilyn Copycat Cadle, clusterfuck, contemptible, clashing, conflicted, controversy, combat, contestable, collision, contradictory, contrary, constipating, cringeworthy, Connecticut conundrum. Scribbles, aka Copycat Cadle, when she did her clusterfuck, let me just read this to you. This is Mrs. Howard's update, or Ann Howard's update. Hey there, this was posted to her Facebook on January 5th. Hey there, serial murders and Connecticut followers. Here's an update on the status of Cadlegate, i.e. the plagiarism of my book, His Garden. Cadle sent notice 2 days ago that she requested the removal of her book, Letters from Christopher, from Amazon, and Amazon has agreed to remove it. I don't know when they're going to remove it because it's still up. So Miss Howard said now we wait to see if that actually happens. She also forwarded a letter from her self-publisher, Dorrance, stating that the book will no longer be distributed. She is purportedly notifying other online booksellers now. I'm naturally wary, and I will believe it when I see it. In the meantime, I have retained a top-notch copyright infringement lawyer, Go Ann, here in Connecticut, and we will fight this to the bitter end. Good. I am glad to hear that. Miss Howard continues to say, I will not be played. One big issue that we will fight is her audacious request that reimbursement for over $21,000 in expenses incurred during the mere 5 months that it took her to write the book get deducted from the proceeds that she hands over to me. That is one of the most ridiculous fucking things I've ever heard. How is it Miss Howard's problem that Copycat Cadle in her clusterfuck incurred expenses, as though Miss Howard asked her to do this or some shit like that? Most of that money comprises the cost that she paid to Dorrance for publishing the book. She was rejected by traditional publishers and so had to pay a self-publisher to publish the book, about $6,500, and Dorrance allegedly paid out about $12,000 to stock back orders. Once she deducts these and other ridiculous expenses, she will hand over the remaining proceeds to me, which will naturally be $0 after the deductions. If she thinks that she's being crafty, she is not. Needless to say, these outrageous terms will not be tolerated. Among other things, she demands reimbursement for the purchase of a new computer. Is she kidding? No surprises there. All I can say is that Cadle picked the wrong woman to mess with. Sadly, my publisher and I were willing to be quite reasonable in our negotiations. It was not until she returned with these deplorable demands that she angered me enough to hire a lawyer. That is what I call bad legal strategy. I'll keep you all updated as the drama unfolds. Thanks again for your support, everyone. Let the games begin. I am so excited, and I'm going to sit back with my popcorn and just watch this. She added, one other term that she promised to carry out involved a public apology on all of her social media sites. Of course, she quickly took down all of those sites, so we will need to figure out a valid public forum where she can post her acknowledgement of the plagiarism along with an apology. She apparently wants to escape this legal violation fully unscathed. That won't happen. Good. I am so glad she picked Miss Anne K. Howard to plagiarize from. Well, that was only one of those that she plagiarized from. Let's see if some other shit'll happen too. That'll be entertaining. I'm gonna keep watching this. Someone posted under Anne's announcement or update on the clusterfuck. I've whited out names for privacy reasons, but someone said, Anne, I actually worked for Dorrance for years, and so for me this is such a fascinating intersection of some of my interests, true crime and books. I can tell you that you are so spot on with everything you've found out. Dorrance sadly will publish most anything and aren't thorough with plagiarism checks, obviously. Oddly enough, I loved working there for various reasons, and certainly not relevant to what you're going through, but I will say they are the last option for many people who, as you said, can't get published traditionally. I spoke to a few friends who worked on this book, and they confirmed the author was in a rush to get this book out, assuming she'd make it big. Sigh. I wish you a quick and successful resolution to this. She also adds in another comment, what happens is that an author will send the manuscript in, and in almost all cases will opt to have editing and copy editing, especially with an almost $7,000 price tag. I learned that she was in such a rush, she opted out of both to get the book out. She also paid extra for the rush production, so no surprise it was poorly structured and written. And then when this clusterfuck first happened, that I of course broke, but for whatever reason she has this weird Marvin Sherilyn Cadle account, which has since been deleted, but she said, once again, I need to explain something. I've seen the silly accusations being made over 3 sentences that share similarities between my book and another. This is nothing other than an attempt to divert attention from real issues that are currently being dealt with. I don't know what these other real issues. It simply isn't going to work, and I will not be giving it any more attention. When opening this Facebook group, I stated there will be no hate or bashing others. I hold to that. People are so full of hate, and to get the attention off of themselves, they come up with ways to hurt others. Is she talking about me? Okay, so I'm full of hate, and I want to get the attention off of myself. What attention? I don't have any negative attention on me. And she refuses to roll in the mud. We will not roll in the mud with those who find it fun. I don't like rolling in the mud. It's dirty and gross. Is she talking about mud wrestling? I don't do that. And then, of course, when AD was upset, she went on his channel and she begged, Alan, I need your support. I'm a very avid reader. These things are things that were in my head. It wasn't stealing anything. Anything I say will be twisted to bash me. Is she one of those that retains shit that she reads, all of it? Kristen should claim that too, that he retains stuff he reads, but I think he really did. And of course, a lot of people say that she also stole the cover from this very famous book about the Zodiac Killer. But anyway, I'm gonna keep up in case anything comes out, like a trial or something. That would be awesome. Alright, well, thanks for listening, guys.